Mike, All-Star game is next week for baseball. It's the only sport to talk about with all these labor disputes going on. Who should be in, who should be out? Any surprises where they've just announced the teams? What caught your eye?
Well, this is, first of all, this is something we argue about for a week every year, and then we sort of forget about it, which is fine. It's sort of an annual sort of sports media tradition to do these snubs and everything, and it depends on how you look at. To some extent, it depends on how you look at the All-Star game, because the fans vote, and you could make the argument that they see who they want to see. Derek Jeter starting in the All-Star game. Not if we're going on merit. No, of course not. But if we're going on, he's like the Joe DiMaggio of our time, and that's a star. So it's the All-Star game. Then maybe Derek Jeter makes sense. There's a lot of guys who I don't think Placido Polanco should be in the All-Star game compared to a couple of other guys. Aramis Ramirez of the Cubs is having a better year than he is. There's a guy named Chance Headley of the Padres who's having a better year than Placido Polanco. But again, you get into what it's for the fans. What do the fans want to see?
I think the fans want to see Derek Jeter, and it's like one of those. He's been hurt, he has been struggling, But I think if there was an up-and-coming shortstop at that position, then you could say, well, he should be in there. Years ago, I think there was times where Cal Ripken, I don't know, had the best numbers, but still was the starting shortstop. Right. So there are those situations that do come up. Now you got these ones they vote online for the last spot. Should it be Shane? Shane Victorino is one of the guys that people are voting for. Does he deserve it? Ryan Howard, one of the top guys in RBIs right now, probably a better choice. In a selfish point of view, it's much. When your team is struggling, I like to see the guys tap their cap, and there's this sense of pride. You want to see as many guys there as possible. Well, I think these guys could use some rest, so I don't mind if they don't go to the All-Star game now. And how about Cole Hamels? If he pitches Sunday, he doesn't get to play in the All-Star game. Do I want him to play in the All-Star game and be there, or do I want him to be well rested? It's one of those. I'm sort of torn as a fan.
Yeah, and I think that's just how it is, and it's sort of an automatic now that if you pitch Sunday, you're not in the All-Star game, and he is scheduled to pitch Sunday, I believe. So he's apparently out. The other one that I wanted to mention, and you talked about a young up and coming shortstop would maybe be a better choice than Jeter, but maybe there isn't a guy like that in the National League. Troy Tulowitzki, who is a very good player for the Colorado Rockies, is going to be the starter at the All-Star game, but Jose Reyes is maybe the National League MVP or close to it this year, and a dynamic player and the kind of guy you would think fans would want to see, and he really probably ought to be starting. And this is the New York market getting outvoted by the Denver market for whatever it's worth. But again, we get into this dynamic of what do the fans want to see as opposed to who are really the best players by the numbers.
Okay on that, though. It's the New York market, but it's the Mets, and the Mets have always been the wicked stepsister.
Everybody hates the Mets.
And Reyes has not been he can be a bit of a problem. The baseball gods could be at work in this one. Last night, Tulowitzki pulled up lane, grabbing this little hammy injury, little tightness. So this could work out. The Reyes gets to start. He deserves a little bit more, even though both of them are having pretty good years. Tulowitzki,
but Reyes is having a bad year.
But Reyes is MVP. His average. He's really putting together his stolen bases.
Yes.
He may actually get it because Tulowitzki pulled up, grabbed the hammy a little bit.
One guy that I want to mention because I think he's sort of perennially underrated. I think he's one of the most underrated players in the game, and he is starting in the All-Star game. So I want to tip my hat to the fans, and I don't want to suggest that I don't like the fans voting. That's not what I'm saying. Ryan Braun of the Milwaukee Brewers, who I think is a consistently excellent offensive player who hits for average, hits for power, hits in the clutch, everything. I'm glad to see him starting in the All-Star game.
And a small market
Absolutely.
Team as well.
And two guys from the Brewers. Ricky Weeks also.
Yeah, that says a lot.